Okay, so Lori comes over and he just takes the mic away. So I was so excited to want to do this because I believe that what Jason said, that this is about leadership. It is about leadership, and I never believed in any associations when I was involved in other things. I wasn't thinking about it, but many of you know who have been here after 9/11. Okay, we started something called the Convention Exhibit Meeting Coalition, and we put together a team of 400 people who worked tirelessly almost for 6 months after 9/11 to help bring the city back. How many people here were involved in that? I mean, there's a lot of people here that were involved in it. It was called CB. And it made me realize the importance of leadership and the importance of getting involved in your community. And it was probably one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done. And it taught me that if you give, you're going to get back. And it's that rule of nature that really works. And so we're here today to talk about leadership and getting people involved. Whether you're involved or your company is involved or the people in your company involved, encouraging them to get to be part of the community, to peek over the fence to see what other people are doing is more important than you can ever imagine. So we're going to start with the elevator pitch. If I had a little cheat sheet when I got involved in this industry to figure out what the initials meant and everything, it would be a lot easier because I felt embarrassed to ask. I don't know what site is or PCMA. Everybody talks in jargon. And we really don't understand any of it, right? Until you sort of get it translated. So we're going to go down the line. We're going to start with Tom, and he's going to talk about MPI in the elevator pitch for 30 seconds. All right.
Everyone, my name is Adisa Feratovic, and I am Vice President of Membership for HSMAI. That's an acronym for Hospitality Sales Marketing Association International. We are one of the largest hospitality organizations globally, with about 7,000 members, 35 countries, and over 40 chapters. So what we do is we want to bring industry leaders together to have a meeting of the minds and network, discuss educational opportunities, and also shape our young leaders in the industry.
What is when you say industry, you're talking hotel?
Yes, hospitality.
But what does hospitality mean? It's like the broad term that means everything to everybody.
So to us, hospitality, it relates to hotels and any types of vendors that provide services to hotels, right. And that does include event space companies, and we've actually worked and partnered with different venue locations for HSMAI.
Right, okay, that explains. Thank you. I want to ask everyone, how many people are members of any of these organizations? Let me go the other way. How many people are not members of any of these organizations? Okay. And so your job is to convince them to join your organization. And actually, you're not talking to them, but this is social media world. You're really talking to them and their 17 friends and their 17 friends and their 17 friends. So this is the pitch to do that. And so I want to start first with go around the horn on what are the benefits of being a member. What's a personal benefit of being a member? Oh yeah, we need the microphone. Benefit of HSMAI.
Well, I'll start by saying when I first started in the hospitality industry, I really didn't know anyone, like a few people here have mentioned, and someone came across from USA Today and told me about this organization from which is HSMAI. And the first thing I did was join and start speaking to people and trying to understand more about HSMAI. What it's done for me personally and professionally is expanded my networking opportunities. I think the educational programming is top-notch, and we have monthly meetings that are catered to sales, marketing, and revenue optimization. Just recently we're talking about different mobile trends, the need and demand for marketing, and how hoteliers need to kick it up a notch.
So let me just break in a little bit.
Sure.
Break in, but I will. The idea is that you're really building your skill set. You're building your intellectual capital by going to this.
Absolutely.
And you're better improving your job functionality. And that's one of the benefits of all of these things, I think, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's things that I've learned at the monthly meetings that I've been able to transfer to my job and my skill set, and it has created profits for the companies that I've worked for.
Right. I just read a book over the weekend called Who. Has anyone heard of this book called Who? It's about hiring, and it is a brilliant book. And everybody has the problem of how do you hire, how do you not use voodoo tactics to hire people? And the number one, because you say, oh, this feels right, or you are your resume. But the number one way that people are recruiting other people is through networking. by far beyond any other aspect. And how many jobs, how many people ask you, who do you know that does this when you're in an association? And it is the great melting pot, you know, for that. And I would assume that that's in the hotel business.
It actually worked quite well for me as well.
You get
recruited.
You got to the benefit.
Absolutely.
It has direct career advice. Direct career, direct career, direct career, direct career.
And we're also working on mentorship opportunities right now. We have a number of different collegiate chapters, and we continue to expand, and now we're looking to bring those students more on board with the hospitality professionals, so they have something lined up when they graduate.
That's great. I had the privilege of working with the State Department for the last 6 years, and one of the jobs was to raise $21 million for the 8th floor of the State Department as a museum. And so what can we do? We can do anything we want. So we decided to have Charlie Rose interview Hillary Clinton and Henry Kissinger together. And the one thing I learned about our business from that discussion was when Henry Kissinger said to Hillary, you know, Hillary, I can't do a Henry Kissinger accent, that you're drinking from a fire hose every day. All you are doing is spending your intellectual capital. You cannot make decisions. You have to take time to build your intellectual capital. And that he says he takes time off all the time to go to conferences, to go to meetings, to study and learn. And what these associations do are a way to build your intellectual capital. And I learned that, I thought, that's the reason we do conferences. And it was really an eye-opening thing for me. So, so that's my advice to why you should also get involved. We have heard about networking, we heard about taking a leadership role, we talk about building your intellectual capital in your niche, which is pretty fantastic. Now I want to go and sort of touch a little bit on the economic aspects of this. Like, what does it cost to join, and why is it worth it, and how do you pitch your boss to get to be a member? I mean, why spend the money to do it? What crosses the Rubicon to get you there? And talk a little bit about why it was worth it and how you actually got your company, your organization to pay for it. Because most of these are paid for by companies, yes or no? Most of the companies are paying for us. So how do you convince your, well, if you're an individual entrepreneur, your company's paying for it, but you've got to make the decision whether it's worth it or not. So you're voting with your dollars in this. So this is kind of the little bit of the tough question. Tom, you want to give it a shot?
For HSMAI, the annual dues are $385 per person. It's individualized memberships. And if it's for 2 or more, the cost is reduced to $280 for each additional person. We also offer student memberships of $65, which we subsidize. You also mentioned the cost. $385 for membership does sound like a lot, but in fact the local chapter only gets about 20%, which doesn't nearly cover the costs, and we depend on sponsors and donations to get these events running throughout the year. So it's a big part of what we do, and we get a lot of sponsors throughout the year to support that.
And how big is the award show that you do? Is that a big revenue producer?
It's a very, very large show, and every year the event does get more and more expensive, and the organization jumps through hoops to keep it as low as possible without increasing the costs on an annual basis.
Right. I mean, these award shows and these sort of big special events are really becoming community marketplaces in a sense where people gather, which is another great benefit because it brings in people that wouldn't normally come to these things.
Yes, it's not just HSMAI, of course. There's several sister organizations. I know we've actually partnered with MPI for dual memberships, offering reduced rates on that, and
we're going to get to how people work together in a minute.
Okay.
But Darren has, I'm sure, learning is we're going much more global, and everybody around the world is doing exactly the same thing that we're doing. And so that's really interesting. So, okay, so we have, but then we have all these events that you do together, right? How do you guys work together? I go to Christmas parties and it's everybody together, so why not just have one big organization? What's your answer to that, Tom? It's a little hot seat, Mr. Vice President of the class of what?
High school or college?
Oh my God, college. What college?
03.
03, and then what, were you the vice president in college too?
No, I was president of my fraternity.
President of your fraternity. Now we're really getting to that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what everybody's doing together. Let's talk about collaboration, because we are all in one industry, and we're all have the same goals. And to me, the goal is to get people to collaborate, to have conversations, and change the world. Adisa.
Yes, for HSMAI, we do have a student rate of $65. Aside from that, we welcome all students to attend the monthly events.
For free.
There is actually a fee for it, but for students we are able to sponsor. So if there's any student that ever wants to attend, they can just let one of us board members know and we'll gladly sponsor the students for the events. Aside from that, we're in the process of building a mentorship program right now, aligning up students with great hospitality or hotel organizations and a lot of the big name brands that are well known in the industry. And aside from that, we have a dedicated committee for collegiate events. We're working on an event right now in November that is going to bring out all the students from different chapters in different colleges to attend an event together, and we're working to create it sort of like a branding you event where we're going to have HR directors from different hotels come in and talk to people, collect some resumes, and tell them what they're looking for.
We love to have.
So maybe there's some interesting thing about our discussion at the table and here about using YEP to be a feeder organization for your mentoring programs, which would be a great connection. And we see that, I think that we appreciate that YEP is hosting this, which shows tremendous initiative on their part to even think about this idea. So I congratulate them for that. And I want to open up for anyone have questions out there.